Hey, this is Matt once again. What about to another video? This is another paid request, this time for Edward. Thank you so much for that and for your generosity. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for South Park Season 9, Episodes 13 and 14. And Season 9 is pretty much the end of it. Has been kind of a wishy-washy type of season. It started off weak, then I thought it got better as it went along. Some pretty strong ones, like the Scientologist one, among others. But these two, I wasn't really big on. I thought it's one of those seasons that started weak and ended weak, and the better stuff is in the middle, at least to me. Because these two episodes, Episode 13 I thought was kind of a dumb one. Very random one. This is where the South Park kids go to a sea park. They see an orca doing all these tricks. And Kyle decides to stay behind and look at the orca. And these two workers are messing around with a microphone, pretending that the orca can talk, and Kyle believes it. And, oh yeah, so the workers are messing around, goofing off, saying, oh, he's from the moon, and blah, blah, blah. But so Kyle gets the other kids. They start believing it. And they make a plan to free the orca and get it to the moon. And it goes to this thing where the kids actually succeed in getting it out, and then the two workers realize, oh my god, they really believed us, it's our fault, we gotta go find it. And then this liberation called ALF, not alien life form from Melmac, but liberation. Yes, free. They don't know that the kids want to free it into space. They think, oh yeah, the kids want to protect the animals, free into the ocean. So they figure out how to get a rocket to the moon, and one thing leads to another, they go to Mexico. Because it'll only be $200. It leads to a battle where some of the liberation folks kill one of the two workers. The kids are able to get the whale, and it's in the ocean at first, and yeah, the liberation. But then the whale is like in this harness thing, and the rocket just takes it up into the sky. And the kid's like, yay, we did it! Cut to the whale, of course, being dead on the moon. The end. I would say the last shot got it. Well, yeah, of course, what else was going to happen? The other note I didn't mind, the noteworthy thing for me is there's a bit where the two workers are going around with a sketch. And when people looked at the sketch, it's actually how the South Park kids would look in real life. Like sketched in pencil. Really good artwork. But you know, making fun of their rough one, and someone goes, wow, that's really bad artwork, which is the total opposite. But I thought that was a nice idea, a neat idea, a funny idea. There's a sketch, and it's how they would look like me and you in the real world. I thought, and what was it? One of them said, oh, the fat one looks like Dakota Fanning or something. Like Cartman looked like Dakota Fanning. That was generally funny. And that was the highlight of the episode for me. It's just the plot, the story, I thought, wow, this just seems very random. Well, a lot of South Park is random, what I'm talking about. But I just, other than that one bit, and maybe the very, very end, I didn't really care about the rest of the episode. I think using other characters like Butters would have really helped. I can't remember much funny stuff from like Cartman. Kenny, I mentioned this, Kenny is pretty much in the background for most of this. Like Kenny, this whole season, I don't know really what Kenny has done other than that one bit. Was it a one episode where Kenny lights something and almost the whole forest goes up in flames? But other than that, I can't remember really anything Kenny has done. He's really become a non-existent thing since the whole we kill Kenny off each episode went bye-bye. It's like they had absolutely nothing to do with that. maybe the only thing in this is he says, "What the fuck you talking about?" When Kyle says the orca can talk, but of course it's muffled to get away, because that's what Kenny does. Kenny muffles. That's like the only bit he has. Cartman, I really can't remember anything that Cartman says or does that's worth a chuckle. It was more about either the workers wanting to not get in trouble, or the liberation group, or the kids just taking this seriously, as naive as they are, thinking that this orca can talk and go to the moon. I guess the idea just wasn't as funny to me as it was to the South Park guys. I don't know what to tell you. And then episode 14 was a little bit better, but it deals with Stan's dad, and other than the episode that was the Rocky music being played within it, I don't know if I could say I'm really big on Stan's dad. I know later on he gets much more prominent. Pretty much the kids are taking a karate class. Stan's dad is drunk. He drives them home drunk. He pisses in a beer bottle. He gets stopped by the cops. He has to do sobriety test. And then has to parade around in school, giving a lecture about drunk driving and drinking is wrong. Stan's embarrassed. And then he goes to an AA meeting. I would say the one noteworthy thing about this episode, because I didn't know much about AA in general, because I've never been to it, because I don't drink. I just don't. The last time I tasted beer was probably 20 years ago, literally. And I always just thought it tasted disgusting. That's why I stick to water, or more water, or maybe mellow yellow soda. But I did not know that AA was, when you looked at the 12 steps, there's a lot of God, religious stuff in it. And that's sort of what they're playing off of in this one. So the AA pretty much tells, oh yeah, alcoholism is a disease. So then Stan's dad believes it really is a disease, and he shaves his head. He's in a wheelchair because he believes it's a disease, because he's like a hypochondriac. And I will say, one of the reasons I liked this a bit more than episode 13, I did get what they were going for in this one, where Stan's like, no, it's not a disease, you just stop drinking. Of course, that's easy. Granted, that might be a very naive way of thinking in a way, unless you've been there. Because addiction, that's easy to say, just stop doing it. So that's what I mean, I get the point, but at the same time, just how naive is it of a point? But it goes into how pretty much Stan showcases that AA meeting's kind of like a cult, and the 12 steps are, wow, they're so religious. One thing leads to another. There's a St. Peter's Church statue, and the Virgin Mary's bleeding out of her ass. So Stan's dad thinks it's a miracle, goes there, keeps cutting in line. The one laugh I did get is some people keep saying, "You're a butter. You're a dirty line cutter." I never heard someone call someone a butter. Like, you're a butter. I don't know what the hell that means. I'm like, is Butters here? No, you're a butter. I don't know what the fuck. I know butter. Like, I can't believe it's not butter. But you're a butter? I just, butting into things. I don't know. But I like the rhyme. You're a butter. You're a dirty line cutter. Just something about that made me chuckle a little bit. Maybe just as how silly it is. And then Randy, that's Stan's dad, Randy, he, just like the others, gets to the statue. Then the Pope comes and he says that, well, it's not coming out of her ass, it's coming out of her cooch, and sorry, a woman bleeding out of her cooch is no miracle. Ask her about it. They pretty much stand going, hey Dad, you quit drinking on your own for a couple days. You did it. You're right, it's not a miracle. You did it yourself, so you can control this. Again, it is, I think, a bit too naive of a way of thinking. As someone that's never experienced that, I think there's a bit more to it than that. But I can understand an outsider perspective looking at it, just stop. But he's not a disease, not, herpes or AIDS or something. Like, just stop doing it. But again, there's also the flip side, it's easier said than done. I wish they would have maybe put that more into it, like the other flip side of that. But it's more, no, it's not a disease, that's stupid, and to say that, and AA meeting is a religious cult. And Stan goes, I know how that is, because I used to run a religious cult, talk about the Scientology stuff. So I do like that gets referenced to show that there's a little bit of history with these characters. Like I said, I wish they played a little bit more on both sides. Maybe the bit of naivete on some of the aspects here. Can't really say, again, other than that one line, I didn't really laugh a whole lot. And it's a comedy show. And let's say with these last two episodes, I can't say I really chuckled a lot, and can't say I really cared about the stories. Just episode 13, I just thought, wow, this is kind of dumb. And episode 14, I'm like, I didn't mind Randy and that Rocky one, but there's also the kids wanting to lose these games, and maybe because I'm a Stallone, despite his recent work, I am a Sylvester Stallone fan of many of his early work, and I'm a big Rocky fan, despite the crappy Creed films nowadays. So listen to that music, that really perked my nostalgia bell, so to speak. But yeah, I don't know if I really care about Randy as a character to be the lead of an episode, but if I understand, there's a lot more coming in the future of that. But yeah, with that said, I think the episodes in the middle were the better episodes of season 9, at least to me. This, I thought, kind of like the way it began, is again, wishy-washy season. I would say, like, the previous couple seasons seemed a bit better than this one. Other than, again, a few standouts, like the Scientology episode. But still, with that said, thanks once again, Edward. Thank you guys out there. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.